Deborah Eyler, Chief Judge of the 10th Judicial District in Pueblo. Thank you so much for joining us, Deborah.
You're welcome.
Judge Eyler, can you give us some idea of the number of civil cases that are filed annually in the Pueblo District Court?
Well, if you're talking about district court cases, which are the cases that are where the amount in controversy is over $15,000, 2 years ago, the total number of those types of cases was 837. And in the last fiscal year, there were 764 cases of that type.
And of those filings, how many of those cases actually went to a trial, either to the judge or to a jury?
2 years ago, out of the 837, 13 cases went to trial. And last year, out of the 764 cases of that type, only 9 went to trial.
That's a very small percentage, isn't it?
It's a very small percentage. It's between 1% and 2% each year.
Now, you've indicated that district court represents amounts in controversy that exceed $15,000. If it's a lesser controversy and a judge or jury is involved, that would be in the county court. Is that right?
That's correct.
Have you determined what the statistics are in the county court?
The percentage that go to trial is approximately the same. The total number of cases are greater, but the amount that actually go to trial before a judge or a jury still ranges between 1% and 2%.
In our Pueblo District Court, Judge Eyler, judges generally require the parties to go to mediation before they permit them to go to trial. Is that right?
That's correct.
Why do you think that is a valid policy?
Well, partly it's based on the statistics that I've just stated, that most cases settle before trial, and the process of mediation allows people to try to reach that resolution without the delay and the expense involved in going through the litigation process. That process, depending upon the nature of the case, can mean that the case isn't resolved at trial for anywhere from probably 1 to 3 years, and there's a lot of extra expense involved in the litigation process, not only financial, but it costs people emotionally, it costs them time. And mediation is a process that allows people to avoid some of that cost and some of that emotional expense, and it also gives them the opportunity to control the process and resolve matters themselves without leaving something to the discretion of a jury or a judge. And research generally shows that people are more happier with the end result if they have some control over the process, or more control of the process as they would have in mediation.
Judge Eyler, how can parties in Pueblo participate in mediation?
Pueblo has, the court has its own mediation program. We have 4 mediators at the court, and that's available to litigants in civil cases. Also, mediation is available through private mediators who are oftentimes lawyers or retired judges, and so it can happen either way. It's sometimes just a difference of scheduling, who's available, and cost. It's typically cheaper to use the program through the courts. There's maybe more flexibility as to who you have as a mediator and when things are scheduled if you use private mediation.
Before taking the bench as a judge, you acted for several years as a mediator, didn't you?
Yes.
Now, since you've experienced now both the process of facilitating discussion and urging parties to settle their own disputes, and now you're entrusted with making that decision when parties won't settle, what advice would you give those who, let's say, have a dispute with their contractor, landlord, or neighbor?
I would recommend that they consider mediation. Quite frankly, in the district court level, as you indicated, they're going to be ordered to mediation in almost every case before they can go to trial. And as I said, it's a process that allows people to try to reach a resolution that they craft themselves with the help of the neutral mediator. That process is confidential, so whatever offers are made or discussion is had in mediation is not going to ever be brought before the court. It is a way to avoid some delay in the resolution of your dispute and costs to the parties. And so it's very beneficial to the parties to attempt to reach a resolution under those circumstances.
Thank you, Judge Eyler.